Drift like a pro, best cheap RWD cars for beginners. Imagine this. You're in an empty lot, engine roaring, you clutch kick, and suddenly, you're sliding sideways. That's the electrifying thrill of drifting. There's nothing like the rush of control when you're holding a car right at the edge of grip, tires screaming, smoke billowing, and you're totally in the zone. But here's the kicker. People think you need a high-budget build to start. Wrong. You don't need a fully built race car to master the art of drifting. You just need the right platform to start with, and that's what we're diving into today. Today, I'll reveal the best cheap RWD cars for learning to drift without breaking the bank. We're talking about cars that are affordable, reliable, and most importantly, an absolute blast to drive sideways. All right, first up, we've got the little car that could, the one and only Mazda Miata. This car is practically synonymous with affordable fun, and when it comes to drifting, it packs a serious punch for its size. Now you might be thinking, Chris Fix, a Miata for drifting? And I hear you. It doesn't have the raw power of a V8, but that's where the beauty of this car comes in. It's all about finesse, technique, and really learning the dynamics of drifting. The Miata is super lightweight, which means it's incredibly nimble and easy to throw around. You don't need a ton of horsepower to break the tires loose, and that's perfect for beginners. Trust me, if you can learn to drift a Miata, you can drift anything. Plus, the Miata has a near perfect weight distribution, almost 50-50, which is like the holy grail for handling. That means it transitions smoothly and predictably, so you can really focus on your steering inputs and throttle control. And let's not forget about the aftermarket support. Parts for these cars are everywhere, and they're dirt cheap. Whether you need new tires, suspension components, or even a whole engine swap, you can find it all without breaking the bank. Now, the Miata isn't perfect. Its low power means you're going to have to carry more speed into corners and really work the clutch to keep the revs up. But hey, that's all part of the learning process, right? So if you're looking for a car that will teach you the fundamentals of drifting without emptying your wallet, the Mazda Miata is a no-brainer. It's a blast to drive, easy to work on, and it'll turn you into a true driving enthusiast. Just remember, start slow, find a safe place to practice, and don't be afraid to get those tires screaming. The Miata is all about having fun and learning the art of sideways driving. Next up, we're talking about a legend in the drifting world, the BMW E36 and its older brother, the E46. These cars are practically built for going sideways, and they're surprisingly affordable these days. What makes the E36/E46 so good for drifting? Well, for starters, they have that classic BMW front-engine rear-wheel drive layout with near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution. That means they're incredibly balanced and predictable when you're hanging the tail out. Under the hood, you'll find a range of powerful and reliable inline-six engines. These engines are known for their smooth power delivery and willingness to rev, which is exactly what you want for drifting. Plus, they sound absolutely amazing when you're ripping it sideways. But it's not just about the engine and drivetrain. The E36/E46 also has a well-tuned suspension that can handle a beating. And thanks to their popularity, there's a massive aftermarket for these cars. You can find anything you need to upgrade them for drifting, from coilovers and sway bars to full-on drift kits. Of course, no car is perfect, and the E36/E46 does have a couple of quirks. The biggest one is their cooling system, which can be a bit fragile, especially if you're pushing the car hard on the track. So make sure you keep an eye on your temperatures and invest in some cooling upgrades if you plan on doing a lot of drifting. But honestly, those minor issues are a small price to pay for the pure driving joy that these cars offer. They're a blast to drive, they look great, and they have that undeniable cool factor that comes with being a BMW. So if you're looking for a car that's affordable, fun to drive, and has a ton of potential for drifting, the BMW E36/E46 is definitely worth checking out. Just be prepared to fall in love with the feeling of that inline six screaming as you slide through corners. Chapter 3, Nissan 350Z, the Drift Monster. Alright, let's talk about another icon in the drifting scene, the Nissan 350Z. This car needs no introduction. It's known for its aggressive looks, powerful engine, and of course, its incredible drifting capabilities. The 350Z comes with a 3.5-liter V6 engine that pumps out over 280 horsepower and plenty of torque, making it an absolute beast on the track. And because it's naturally aspirated, the power delivery is smooth and predictable. which is crucial for maintaining a consistent drift. Like the other cars on our list, the 350Z has a front engine, rear-wheel drive layout, and a well-balanced chassis, making it a joy to throw into corners. And when it comes to aftermarket support, the 350Z has got you covered. There are tons of parts available, whether you want to upgrade your suspension, brakes, or even swap in a more powerful engine. The possibilities are endless. Now, the 350Z is a bit heavier than some of the other cars on our list, which means it might not be as forgiving for beginners. But with a little practice, you'll be able to handle this beast like a pro. One thing to keep in mind is that the stock differential in the 350Z isn't the strongest. If you're serious about drifting, you'll want to upgrade to a limited slip differential or even weld the diff. This will help you maintain traction and keep those rear wheels spinning in perfect harmony. Overall, the Nissan 350Z is an incredible car for drifting. It's powerful, responsive, and has a huge aftermarket following. If you're looking for a car that can handle both daily driving and track days, the 350Z is definitely worth considering. Chapter 4. Ford Mustang, SN95/New Edge, American Muscle, Drift Style. Now, if you're looking for raw power and tire-shredding fun on a budget, look no further than the Ford Mustang, specifically the SN95 and New Edge generations. These Mustangs are absolute bargains these days, and they offer a ton of potential for drifting. Under the hood, you'll find a rumbling V8 engine that's just begging to be unleashed. We're talking about classic American muscle here, folks. And because these Mustangs are rear-wheel drive, all that power goes straight to the back wheels, making it easy to break them loose and get sideways. Plus, let's be real, there's just something satisfying about hearing that V8 roar as you're drifting through a corner. It's a symphony of power and tire smoke. Now, the Mustang isn't perfect. The stock suspension on these cars is geared more towards drag racing than drifting, so you'll likely want to upgrade the suspension with some stiffer springs and sway bars. And while the Mustang is a blast to drive, it can be a bit of a handful, especially for beginners. That V8 engine packs a serious punch, so you'll need to be smooth with the throttle and steering to avoid spinning out. But that's all part of the fun, right? Learning to tame a powerful beast like the Mustang is a rewarding experience, and once you get the hang of it, you'll be sliding around corners like a pro. So, if you're looking for an affordable, powerful, and undeniably cool car for drifting, the Ford Mustang SN95/New Edge is definitely worth a look. Just be prepared to invest a little time and money into upgrading the suspension and maybe a few sets of tires. Chapter 5. Lexus IS300, the sleeper drift machine. Last but not least, we've got a bit of a sleeper pick for you. The Lexus IS300. This car might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of drifting, but trust me, it's a hidden gem. Underneath its sleek and stylish exterior, the IS300 packs a secret weapon, the legendary 2JZ engine. While it's not the turbocharged version found in the Supra, this engine is known for its bulletproof reliability and smooth power delivery. And because the IS300 is rear-wheel drive, all those horses go straight to the back wheels, making it surprisingly easy to break traction and initiate a drift. Plus, the IS300 has a well-balanced chassis and responsive steering, which makes it a joy to drive on the edge. Now, the IS300 might not have the same aftermarket support as some of the other cars on our list, but there are still plenty of parts available if you know where to look. And because it's a Lexus, you know it's going to be reliable and comfortable, even if you're using it as a daily driver. One thing to keep in mind is that manual transmission IS300s are relatively rare and can be a bit pricey. But if you can find one, it's definitely worth the premium. Overall, the Lexus IS300 is a fantastic option for those who want a car that's stylish, reliable, and surprisingly capable on the track. It's a bit of a sleeper pick, but that just adds to its cool factor, right? So, there you have it, folks. 5 awesome, affordable rear-wheel drive cars that are perfect for learning to drift. Remember, it's not about having the most expensive car, it's about having fun, learning car control, and pushing yourself as a driver. Now, before you go out and start shredding tires, here are a few quick beginner tips. Weld your diff or get an LSD. It's a must. Get decent front tires. Grip up front keeps you in control. and most importantly, start in a legal, safe environment. No street drifting. Which car would you pick? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the track.